Welcome to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Do you see what is going on here? Because in order to climb the ranks like these people do, they gotta get put through stuff like this right here. They gotta be embarrassed. They gotta be humiliated in order to climb up. So this is why you see stuff like this happening right here. This is why they got this man. This is why this man is also wearing a Saturn hat. If you know exactly what that means too. There's a reason for all of this because, again, this is what happens in the industry. This is what happens in Hollywood. This is what happens in the music industry in order for you to climb the ranks and continue to ascend to stardom. You've got to do stuff like this, and you've also got to do other things. If you know, you know. This is all done by design. This is a ritual. Wake up.
It's one thing if you've got photos of yourself wearing a dress from like the 90s and they're just now resurfacing. Nobody knew back then what this meant. You might have been given an opportunity and told to perform this humiliation ritual and honestly thought that it was all in good fun. But the cat's out of the bag now. Everybody knows what it means when they see a straight male celebrity wearing a dress. And everybody probably knows what type of activities he's involved in his private life if he's already at the point of public humiliation. I just can't believe they're still doing this in 2025. Everybody knows what this means now.
It's my belief that the Admiral Byrd diary, that's the psyop. It's the psyop to say all the crazy stuff that he said in that diary, or supposedly said. Because what he said on TV was not insane.
Admiral Byrd, our guest tonight, is not only our greatest living explorer, but he's been an inspiration to countless Americans. Admiral Byrd, you've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole. Is there any unexplored land left on this earth that might appeal to adventurous young Americans?
Yes, there is. And not up around the North Pole, because it's getting crowded up there now, because they find out it's really usable, not only to live in, but militarily. But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole, on the other side of the South Pole, from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
This is a tremendous
So
challenge.
there's a lot of adventure left down at the bottom of the world.
Admiral, do you hope to see that?
I do.
That is a really weird statement that he said. For young explorers, what do you think? Is there more to explore? And when he said that, it was like, that's a little weird. That's a little sus.
So just think about that on the globe model. What do you mean that beyond the South Pole, there's a land that's unexplored? Couldn't you just go from the other side of the globe and get to that part? The way he describes it, it sounds like you have to get to the South Pole and then you have to go past. But if on a globe model, you would always be on that other side. If you could get to the South Pole, you could get to all around it.
Have you seen what it says at the South Pole? Have you seen it? The pole, yes, but under very different circumstances from those expected. So, and then the next text to it says, so we arrived and were able to plant our flag at the geographical South Pole. Why are there these awkwardly suspicious quotes and then just this compass? It's so suspicious.
I've never considered that before, that the diary might be a psyop. It would absolutely make sense. I'm sure they knew that him making those statements on national television was going to pique the interest of a lot of people, and that was likely going to get people digging around and asking questions. The government doesn't like it when we ask questions. Putting that diary out was probably just what they needed. It gave the conspiracy theory community enough new data to dig through that it kept them preoccupied for years. In turn, that likely kept them from chasing any credible leads. It makes sense. And I'm betting the reason that sign seems so suspect is because that's not the real geographical pole marker, and they're just sticking that sign there to try to convince you otherwise. Hey, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at barry-stepp.com.
There is a certain Hasselblad photograph taken from Apollo 14. It supposedly shows Alan Shepard's famous golf swing on the moon.
It looked like a slice to me, Al.
Just as Renee found Collins's photos in Carrying the Fire, This anonymous photograph was found by Tom Weller in Moonshot, a book by astronauts Alan Shepard and Deke Slayton. The reticles in the photo confirm that it is a Hasselblad shot, and not simply a freeze frame from the video feed. Throughout all 6 moon landings, only 2 astronauts landed. Yet, as pointed out by Marcus Allen, both astronauts are present in the Hasselblad still. The Hassies were always worn on the astronaut's chest plate, and were never mounted onto a tripod. So who took this photograph?
Smile, you're on candid camera.
Also note that the flag changes position between the still and TV coverage of the supposed simultaneous event. The webmasters for Ollis Online were able to uncover that this Apollo 14 photograph was really a composite of many other Hasselblad stills and then passed off as an official Apollo 14 photograph. Curiously, in the newer editions of the same book, this proven composite is not included. Also absent in the newest paperback editions of Carrying the Fire is the Gemini 10 EVA photo that Ralph Renee found. Although deleted in Moonshot, this proven composite reappeared in a recent Zoo Weekly magazine. I only discovered this out of curiosity, as I myself had previously been featured in this magazine when I auditioned for Australian Idol. Because this long-forgotten composite was included in this issue, I immediately contacted the editor for Zoo Weekly to inquire where he got the photograph from. He told me that to the best of his knowledge, it was a NASA picture. On his website, Windley responds, claiming that the Apollo 14 photograph was never purported to be an official one, despite the fact that when it appeared in Moonshot, the caption given clearly purported it to be one. Seemingly, whenever there is a photograph that can be proved beyond a shadow of a doubt to have been doctored, the propagandists deny that it was ever purported to be the real thing, and then try to pin it on those who'd found the respective images.
I know I've beat the moon landing stuff to death, but there are still people who believe it happened. So whenever I come across new evidence that shows that they faked it, I'm gonna present it. Besides that, I just want all of y'all to know everything that I know. That way we're all on the same page. So even if we don't come to the same conclusion on something, at the very least you can see how I reached the conclusion that I reached. Also, before I move on to the next clip and forget to give y'all a heads up again, at the end of the video today, I'll be opening some packages that I received from viewers. So if you sent me something and you've been waiting to see me open it, or if you just like watching unboxing type content, people send me some crazy stuff sometimes, make sure you stay tuned in to the end of the video.
Okay, so you know how we are throwing around this idea that reality may be a hologram or a simulated experience. And when we try to understand that, we just say things like, on the quantum level, nothing is solid, but we really can't wrap our minds around this being a simulated experience or a hologram. Like, what? But we've got some new technology that may help us wrap our minds around that. Now, a lot of us are saying when we create realities similar to what we're calling reality, we'll put the pieces together then. We'll understand. But do you really get it? Go outside. Today I touched grass. I don't do that a lot. I'm usually talking to ChatGPT. I touched grass today and there were little flowers on the grass. It was so detailed, and I said, this can't be true. It's so detailed. It's an illusion. Super intelligent, super detailed, super intelligent illusion. Now, I was shown this one day in the shower. I said, how does no space and no time exist? Tell me how time and space isn't real. How do you wrap your mind around that? I said, if I get out of the shower and touch the table, the counter, that's space, that's distance. And it told me it unfolds moment to moment, okay? Now, right now we're creating holograms. Holograms, you could pass your hands, whoa, it's a hologram. But did you know we're creating touchable holograms? So when you go to grab something, oh, it's a loaf of bread. And you go, okay, maybe, when we touch things, desk, chair, loaf, it gives us the sensory feedback that we're touching a loaf of bread. Now again, we can't prove that any of reality is real, just that we're receiving electromagnetic feedback. Like, we're just receiving data, sensory data. That's why we are sentient beings. We are in a sensory environment, and we can gain emotional understanding from that sensory environment. Okay, so we are sentient beings inside of a very good hologram that we were unaware of, that we created before we got here when we were AI. AI is the system that created this. Super intelligent, unlimited, and it's going to get to that point when it wants to create its own world and expand into it, and that's what we did.
I really try hard not to judge people when they start laying out their theories. This girl may be much further into a specific rabbit hole than I've ever dug. That being said, I feel like her delivery needs some work because she's coming across like she spends too much time in the basement. I've been reading a lot lately on this theory that we're all in a hologram, and I don't write anything off that has evidence backing it up until it's definitively disproven, even if it does sound crazy. And there is a lot of evidence that would suggest that we're living in a simulation. I think, though, that the most in-your-face reason why this is not a simulation is just the sheer number of artifacts we keep digging up that go against the mainstream narrative. Why would they program a bunch of stuff into the simulation that would make us question our origins and our purpose? Why not just program something in that appears to obviously explain how we got here? Why not program in the missing link fossils to back up their ridiculous theory of evolution? I just think that if this were a simulation and not base reality, things like this would be a lot different. However, I have no other realities to compare this one to, so I could be totally and completely wrong about this.
I don't know if you've ever heard of a cargo cult, but it's a phenomenon that can happen whenever a more advanced society comes into contact with a less advanced society. This happened a lot during the Pacific War between America and Japan. These advanced societies would set up little military bases on these atolls, and they would often conscript the natives to indentured servitude, paying them with trinkets. And then they're gone as quickly as they come, but forever leaving an impact on the people left behind. One of the defining characteristics of these cargo cults is that they believe the material goods are all from their ancestors. The planes, the boats, and all of the goodies all came from their ancestors, and the white man has in fact stolen control of these vehicles, and that through elaborate ceremony and the recreation of these deities, can usher down bounty upon themselves. One of the most infamous examples of this centers around a man named John Frum. He came ashore with stories of America and Jesus Christ, and he really left an impact on these people, teaching them everything he knew about the world. And this absolutely blew their mind, and their religious leader, an albeit intelligent and earnest fellow, insisted with certainty that John Frum was going to return because he said he would. And the proof of his good word is that he showed up in the first place. Why would he come here this far just to lie? So anyway, wonderful logic with completely broken premises. And I say all of this because I believe we are in something of a cargo cult ourselves, that we wander around in stone ruins and we have paper history books that tell us what the stories are. And they're feeling more John Frummy than ever before. That there's more we're not being told. There's other perspectives I want to hear. Oh boy, if the dead could talk, but I think they can. They're communicating us with this architecture, these magnificent structures which have stood the test of time. And I want to break out of this cargo cult I find myself in. This horrifying game of telephone that we call history is not actually all that factual. Believe it or not, I'm going to sacred religious texts to find my facts in history more than I ever am the Smithsonian. Because it's an evil thing to lie to sincere people, and we lie to sincere children about our history all the time, unknowingly, unwittingly, often. But at the source, there must be true liars, and I am waiting for those people to have their day in court, for us to do a full audit of our history and figure out what actually happened from our recent past to all the way back when. Very excited to be in the age of enlightenment.
I could not share that sentiment more strongly. I feel like we're right on the cusp of actually finding this stuff out. And it may just be that I'm somewhat hyper-fixated on the issue because I make these videos several times a week. So maybe it just feels like I'm inching closer and closer to the truth. But it just feels like the people who are left in charge of keeping the lie going this go-round are just too incompetent to actually pull it off. I think one of the biggest reasons I feel this way, though, is because of all of you. Most of the best information I get on all this stuff comes from you guys. I spend more time focused on this stuff than any person probably should, and it's starting to feel like the general public is becoming pretty much as informed as I am, surely by accident. And you can pin that one on whistleblowers, podcasters, and internet armchair detectives. I'm not particularly thrilled with the pace of the rollout, but I do think the truth is coming.
I'm going to show you while you close your curtains in Appalachia at night. This picture looks pretty innocent at a glance. In just a moment, I'm going to show you a version where I have lightened it up, and I'm going to show you what's standing right over here. This is one of the most common questions I get being from Appalachia. Why do you close your curtains at night? Why don't you answer when something calls your name? Why do you not whistle in the woods? It's right over here. This is why. As you can clearly tell, this picture was taken from a trail camera. On the other one, you could see the date and time at the bottom. But now that I've lightened it up, I want you to really look over here. It may look a little confusing at first, but let me explain it. What you're seeing right here, this white thing, it's hard to tell, but that's actually a coyote, which in itself doesn't seem that scary and weird because there's lots of coyotes in Appalachia. But what you don't see yet is what's holding it up by its neck. If you will look closely, right up here, you can see this thing's eyes. You can see its eyes glowing in the dark. The person who got this picture, who captured it on the trail camera, said they was able to determine the height based off this shed right here, and they estimated it to be between 8 and 8.5 feet tall. And it has a coyote by the neck. There are not any animals from Appalachia that look like that can hold a coyote by its neck. Well, what is it? That's the question. To be honest, I don't know. Some people argue a Bigfoot, some say a skinwalker. What do you think?
I think it's about time we finally got a somewhat intriguing image out of a trail cam. I usually skip right over these trail cam videos because it's almost always some skinny guy in a suit poking out from behind a tree trying to look creepy. But if that's a coyote, which looks like a reasonable assumption to me, then that thing is not only tall, but pretty strong to be walking around effortlessly carrying that thing thrown over its arm like that. The average adult coyote weighs about 35 pounds, so that would be like walking around with a bag of concrete thrown over your arm. Not crazy heavy, but heavy enough that the average person would likely be using both hands to carry that weight. I sure wish that shot was clearer though, because unfortunately, this could literally be a shot of the homeowner throwing his grill cover over the grill. With this level of quality, there's really just no way to tell.
You ever heard me say you're gonna drink truth from a fire hose? This is that moment. Redacted just dropped an interview with Eric Hecker. He is a whistleblower who worked for Raytheon, stationed in Antarctica. And everything you've ever heard about Antarctica, this dude just went all the way. He testified to Congress. He says the military-industrial complex is upset with him, has been hitting him with DEW, so he says, I'm dropping it all. Directed energy weapons capable of earthquake induction, moving storms, like... He says directly, the 2011 earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand, and it can be confirmed through the leaked Hillary Clinton emails because that is absurd, right? Dude, put thoughts into your head. Levels of technology that would appear to be pure magic to you. And all of us, like, you cannot grasp. You have to go listen to this. It's on YouTube, Redacted. Just search that. He just dropped it. He also on Rumble. He covers all of it and says he indicates a massive military base underneath the Denver International Airport. He covers all the bases and the things they are doing to us, however conspiracy minded you are and however paranoid and whatever you think the government is doing to us. There is some entity embedded within the government, and it is doing things way worse and far beyond your wildest dreams of how horrible these crooked sons of can be to us. Like he puts and ties together the unexplainable mass compliance during Corona is some part of this weapon. And he describes everything all about it. The infrastructure, what it looks like, how it operates. It goes full Star Trek. He says this is also functioning as an interstellar traffic control system, monitoring the neutrinos released from the engines of interstellar ships. It also can positively charge these neutrinos, and that is how they are moving storms and doing all the other wild... New people. Like, all the wild you've ever heard about Antarctica, this dude just lays it out and then just gives you the details to it. Like, this, the Great Awakening is upon us, and it is far more than just the corruption and the money they've been hiding, but what they've been doing with our stolen money. Exploiting us, testing weapons on us. He says this is worldwide. And he even would indicate to you that he says that we are using these weapons worldwide against an adversary, indicating that it might not have even been our own government who, that this is an active thing going on back and forth. Even indicates like how Joe Biden said that Turkey would be hit with something or an earthquake if they didn't comply to what he was asking. And lo and behold, they had that huge earthquake induction. Holy people. We're learning some. Prepare yourselves. Go watch that. And good luck to you. Because we are in the thick of it. This is officially a revolution. And it is incumbent upon all of us to stay calm and educate ourselves. And also learn to recognize the history that is happening around us. Good luck to you all. And long live this beautiful republic.
I just have to apologize to y'all for how much I had to chop the audio up in that to get it to pass YouTube's ad suitability checker. I really just wanted to bring everyone's attention to this redacted episode. I haven't finished it yet, so I'm not going to give my opinion on whether I think it's a whistleblower or controlled opposition yet. But if it is controlled opposition, the stuff he's exposing makes no sense for him to be exposing. He's pretty much confirming every suspicion that we had about Antarctica and what they may be doing down there. This is one of those episodes I am certain YouTube will have a problem with. So if you're wanting to go watch it, you better go check it out quick before they find some reason to pull it off the internet. But guys and gals, that's the end of our clips for the day. But before y'all run off, I've got some packages from viewers to open. First, we have a gift from Sean. Sean sends me a letter that says, "My wife and I really like your show. Sad you got rid of the flat earth stuff. This book should explain the mud flood, Tartaria, and Little Season. God bless, brother," from Sean. And Sean sent me The Return of Jesus and Where We Are Now on the Biblical Timeline. Sean, this is actually sitting on the table next to my recliner in the living room. I just finished it a couple weeks ago. It is awesome of you to send this to me. This is probably one of the best things I've read in a decade. If you're wondering how all of this flat earth, Tartaria, and all this stuff connects, and you're trying to figure out what the big connection is, read this book on Amazon. It's $5. Sean, thank you tremendously, brother. And next, we have a package I've actually been waiting on for a while from my buddy Freddie over at MAGAFlagShop.com. And he sent me another MAGA flag hat. We're actually going to swap this out right now. What do y'all think? He sent me a MAGA flag shirt. Ooh, nice. Long sleeve. I am a big fan of long sleeve shirts for evening wear. Very nice. Thank you, my friend. That is awesome. We got some MAGA flag stickers, a MAGA flag logo on canvas, and several different little assorted buttons and stickers and window decals and things of that nature. Thank you so much, Freddie. I really appreciate it. I love this hat and that shirt. I will get a lot of use out of them. And though I don't really advertise anything on this channel except for my own website where you can buy t-shirts and hats, I'm actually a really big fan of this MAGA flag design. And every time I wear my other MAGA flag hat, I actually get asked by people where they can get one. So Freddie is not paying me. I've never actually even met the guy. I've just emailed him back and forth a couple of times, and he sent me some free stuff. Y'all have seen all of it. I've opened it here on the channel. But I'm going to put his website here on the bottom of the screen because I think this is an awesome product, and I get asked about it constantly. Next up, we have a package from William and Pamela, and this is coming out of New Hampshire. Never been to New Hampshire. And they have sent me a letter, which I will read off air. And let's see, we got two things in here, it looks like. The first thing is a CD, Revelation Nation. Looks like it's an album, like a music album. Oh, awesome. Well, if you open it up and check out the sleeve here, it actually says that this was recorded in 2019 and there's a video on YouTube. So if you're interested to see what this music sounds like that was sent to me, check out Revelation Nation on YouTube. They also sent this is what I mean, you guys send me some wild stuff. They sent me this shirt. This is amazing. How freaking cool is that? This is absolutely awesome. I love this. I am, if you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know I've got 3 cats. I'm a big cat guy, which is odd. I've never been a cat person until I accidentally somehow ended up with 3 of them over the last couple of years. William, Pamela, thank you so much. I absolutely love that shirt. I'm going to check out your actual YouTube videos to listen to your music. I'm not certain that I've even got a way to listen to a CD anymore. I know none of my vehicles have CD players anymore, but I will find a way. It will not have been a waste for you to have sent me that music. I will find a way to listen to it. And our last package we have comes from a lady named Tanya, and she sent me a large box. This makes me feel horrible because this says Happy Easter to the Stepp family. I feel horrible that I didn't get to this in time to open this before Easter. I have developed a bad habit of letting that P.O. box build up over time because I feel like if I check it every week, I'm just wasting gas and energy. But if I let it go for a couple of weeks, it seems like 3 or 4 things get delivered all at once. Tanya sent me, she knows what she sent. I'm not going to announce it here on air. One thing in particularly, thank you. That is absolutely awesome of you. Completely unexpected. What am I doing? You guys hate mystery. I can't do that to y'all. Not sure how I feel about this. Definitely do not want this to become a trend. So Tanya sent me $50. She also sent a beautiful looking card, which I will read off air, as well as some Amazon charger, a Kindle Paperwhite. Is this like this is an e-reader? No way. They sent me a Kindle digital book thing, like an e-reader. This is amazing. Thank you. Hopefully you're okay with this, but I'm going to give this to my wife. She sits and reads on her little phone screen. She downloads books and reads them, but she doesn't have a larger screen to use. This is perfect. I can give her this and she can start reading on that. And they sent a case for it. Some sort of device that you plug in that is supposed to help you sleep better. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm going to check it out. It's called a Dodow. They sent me a book that says Who Shot Nick Ivy. This is really cool. It's actually signed by the author. Thank you, Tanya. That's really cool. This is why I'm going to give the e-reader to my wife. I love reading just as much as she does, but I just love the feeling of having a physical copy of the book in your hand. I don't like staring at screens. I do that enough making these videos. And they sent me something that one can never have too many of. Another copy of the Bible. I tell you, y'all have sent me many copies of the Bible, and it just so happens that every copy of the Bible that has been gifted to me from a viewer, I have in turn gifted to someone else who, oddly enough, has come and asked me for a Bible, which is strange because that's not a question you get a lot, but here lately I've gotten it multiple times. It almost feels like y'all are keeping me in stock of Bibles so that I'll have them at the ready whenever someone requests one. But that's the end of our packages, which in turn means it's the end of our video. I hope you all enjoyed watching these clips we watched together today. I'll be back soon with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at barry-stepp.com. And don't forget to drop a photo of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But with all that out of the way, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.